What's good, everybody? It's the Clown of a Cab Show. Our society today in 2021, it's been a roller coaster, right? From starting with COVID, dealing with all the problems that we've been dealing with for a long time, really. And let's rewind the clocks back to like the 50s and 60s. I mean, what's really changed since then? That's what we have to ask ourselves in 2021 now. What's changed? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're still seeing mass shootings in different states. We're still seeing school shootings. We're still seeing racist remarks happen year in and year out. I mean, we're seeing it. And we're seeing people get targeted in the media, and it's really shown due to technology. Thank God for that, to where we can see some of these things happening. So we can't deny that some of these things that are happening. For instance, like the shootings in California that happened in Orange, California. To me, it's crazy, dude. It continues to keep going, and it's really fueled by hatred. And a lot of people say, hey, Cap, a lot of the things that we're dealing with today is due to mental illness, which I don't disagree with. Yes, mental illness is something we need to take seriously. But I think at the end of the day, what it boils down to hatred. That's what it boils down to. And us humans, we have the capability to either love people or hate people. And a lot of people today in our society, they choose hate. And that's what it's been about. And the thing is like, what's changed? We're still dealing with these same problems before I even existed. For instance, like racist remarks, people being targeted. We just had a 5-year-old. He recently walked out of school. To me, it was really okay. I get that. That's a bad thing. He's only 5. Police ended up pulling him up, and one of the guys was like yelling at him, grabbing him by the arm, like he was like 17 or 18, dude. It's like, this kid is 5, man. You're gonna treat him like an adult, kinda. You're gonna treat him like a 16-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kid is 5. This happened in Maryland, and these cops were just going in at this kid, man. And I get it, discipline is key, but he's 5 years old, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, what good is gonna yelling at this 5-year-old gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's only gonna make the situation worse. Like, seriously, the tempers are high. I get it, dealing with COVID, everything that's happening right now. A lot of anger's being built up, and we can see that in society. We can see it in different things that are happening today. Dealing with gun rights. What are we going to do with that? What's going to happen next? And all this. But my whole thing is like, when will it stop? And we're seeing it on trial now is the George Floyd situation. And to me, it keeps getting interesting and more interesting. Obviously, overall, what do I think about it? I think it's wrong overall, looking at the bigger picture. I feel like, situations where the officers maybe could have handled it differently. And we heard that the store clerk, he came out and testified and said, look, looking back at it from a bigger perspective, he says, look, dude, I kind of wish I didn't call my manager and say this was a counterfeit, because that would have been all avoided. He was just doing his job. You can't blame that kid. No doubt about it. He was just doing his job. It looked sketchy. The fake $20 bill. That's what it boiled down to. But to me, it was like, was it worth George Floyd's life over $20? Essentially. You know what I'm saying? And we had paramedics come out and testify and said, when we showed up at the scene, it looked like he was dead. Laying on the ground like that. To me, it was just like, there could have been different situations where it could have panned out differently. And that's just one scenario. We got Trayvon Martin who ended up getting shot. He's wearing a hoodie and gets shot, dude. And this wasn't even by a cop. Trayvon Martin, to me, it's crazy, dude. And this happened years and years ago. And these things, it keep coming up. It keeps coming back. George Floyd was just one of these situations to me, and it was just like, man, like, imagine 50 years ago, obviously they didn't have technology to record some of the things that really happened then, but we look at the 50s and 60s, and let's fast forward today, right now, present day, 2021, what's changed? You know what I'm saying? We're still dealing with racism. We're still dealing with hatred. We're still dealing with shootings. What has really changed in our society? Like, seriously, straight up. That's what I'm trying to get at right now. It's like, well, what is it? What is the key factor to all this stuff that's happening today, right now? And like I said earlier, I think it really boils down to hatred. But dealing with the George Floyd situation, I don't agree with it. I just think, so many different scenarios. There was many cops there. I think 4 at the time of what happened occurred. With George Floyd, we seen footage of George Floyd in the car, struggling a little bit, telling officers he can't breathe in the car. At that time, if I'm a policeman, which I'm not, but if I was, I would say, look, let's stand George up and let's talk to him face to face. Okay, us getting him on the ground is not going to really help the matter. If this man says he can't breathe, what good is going to get him on the ground? And I get it. And a lot of people are speculating, saying, look, George Floyd was on drugs. He was on drugs. I get that. I mean, dude, there's a lot of kids out there that are on drugs today. Smoking weed, whatever the case is, pills, whatever it is. Let's not just blame it on the drugs here and say, oh, well, it gives them the right. Does it? You know what I'm saying? Does it give you the right to take a human life because he had a $20 counterfeit bill because he was on drugs, supposedly? I don't know 100%, but supposedly was on drugs. But to me, it just doesn't add up. We go to different scenarios like the Breonna Taylor situation. What's up with that situation? What are we going to do? And the whole thing is dealing with these consequences, dealing with all these bad things that are happening, right? We can't buy back these people's lives. We can't. That's one thing we cannot do. We cannot buy time and buy back their lives. So to me, it's like, we could give these families, millions of dollars, whatever they want to do. But at the end of the day, is that going to buy them happiness? Is that going to buy them the funny times with their loved ones? The communication, just the small things that really start to add up in life, right? Just the relationships with a human to human relationship, dude. That stuff's gone now. Seriously. We're seeing it more and more, but my whole thing is, it's just all to me, it's just like, man, there's so much negativity, right? And I just want to, even with the media, everything dealing with the media today, we kind of just get fed negative things. We just absorb it like a sponge, and to me, that is a horrible thing. It's like, it's toxic. I think, what we need to focus on moving forward in our society in 2021, our generation right now, the people in their 20s, their 30s, even in their teens, we are the generation to change the world forever. What I mean by that is like change all the hatred, change all the racism. I believe putting people in races, that just puts people in groups. I believe we are all one human race. We all come from the same family. That's what I believe truly. So to me, we can label, you can label Cap whatever you want to label me. That's what society wants to do, but we're human beings, dude. We all bleed the same. We all breathe the same air. So, to label this guy, oh, well, he's from Mexico, blah, 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 but it's just like, really? Is that where we're going to now? We're just going to label people? And I think we are the society to change that. We really are. But my whole thing is, and I keep going back and forth, dealing with the George Floyd situation. Look, dude, like I said, I just think really the officers could have handled it much differently and much better. If you really think George Floyd was a threat to you, instead of like standing on his neck, you could have tased him for a couple seconds, and I know that sounds bad, with dealing with the heart and all this, if he was on drugs, but to me it was like, it's better than, sitting on his neck for, over 7 minutes, dude. That Derek, the officer, man, he's definitely going to have consequences. And I think, the public's definitely going to come out and say, if he does get scotch-free of this, I'm going to be really surprised. Really, though. I'm telling you right now, if Derek, the officer who sat on George Floyd's neck, if he does get, like, scotch-free, no time at all, I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to say, really? For a human life? Over 7 minutes, and they found evidence where, there was no stuff on his neck, there was no cuts, but it's like, really? We saw video. You know what I'm saying? That's the evidence we need right there. We saw people gathering around George. It was like, what is going on? And police telling him to back up. We had paramedics wanting to help. We had people who weren't even in that field wanting to help Floyd, dude. They wanted to help Georgia and really get that access to that, but is it going to bring justice overall? I don't know. I hope so. I hope so for all the families out there that are losing lives day in and day out. To me, it's really bad. It is, dude. But what is going to change, though, is my whole thing. What is going to change? What's changed since the 50s to now? We're still seeing people that are segregated. We're still seeing people hating on each other just because they don't know who they are. They just hate them because what they look like. We're just judging somebody off their looks. Strictly. And society continues to do that out the flesh. So to me, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It doesn't bring peace and happiness and love to the world. It really doesn't. And like I said, dealing with the media, we keep hearing this, and a lot of people are like, Cap, do police officers have too much power? They can, in certain situations. I was always taught to really never argue with officers, even if they are wrong and you're right. Most of the times, 99% of the time, you're not going to win that battle. You're not. They're going to get back up. You're just not going to win a battle with police officers. That's what I just noticed over time. Just be straight up honest with them. But, it gets real tricky when you start to badmouth, when you start to argue and go at officers, and that's it. It's like a flip of a switch to me, dude. It's just like one of the things where it's like, I don't understand, dude. How can you just flip a switch like that? How? That's my whole thing. It's one of the things where it's like, dude, to me, it was just like, no, this cannot be happening. Like, for instance, like the 5-year-old I was talking about who ended up getting pulled up by the police because he left school early. To me, it's just like, in retrospect, is it like, dude, is it really that big of a deal? It's over something petty. Over these petty situations, petty things that are happening today, and it's just like, are we going to lose a life over something petty? Are we going to get in a fight over something petty? You know what I'm saying? That just doesn't make sense to me. My whole thing is, when is the hatred going to end? When is it going to end? We're seeing these same things that happened a decade ago. Back in 2010. Back in 2009, these similar situations were happening then. In 2021, it's happening now. It just keeps coming up and up. It's like a circle effect. It just keeps going around and around and around. And it's like, is it ever going to stop? And a lot of people are saying, you know what, Cap, it's not going to stop. It's not. The hatred, the crime, is going to continue to thrive. But, in actuality, in retrospect of the bigger picture, it will not last. The hatred, the evil that we're seeing in America, and not just only in America, in the world today, we're seeing it today happening, right? We're seeing the hate. We're seeing everything. It's kind of like cool to look up to like certain like figures who aren't like, Christ-like, for example. Like, for instance, like Satan. We had Lil Nas put out some shoes that were like Satan shoes, dude. Legit. And Nike came out and sued them, which they should have. But to me, it's just like, it's kind of like our culture, our society. It's like, we look up to Satan now. Really? That's who we look up to? We're looking up to Satan now? Do you understand what Satan stands for? Satan stands for all the things that I'm telling us not to do. The hate, the betrayal, the cutthroat, the racism. All that is stemmed from the devil. And to me, it's like these kids like feed off it. And it's just like, dude, that makes no sense. The devil is for betrayal. The devil is for racism, dude. He wants you to do that. He wants you to have confusion in your life. He wants you to be all foggy in the mind. That's what happens. So to me, when I see these teenagers and kids, coming up saying, man, I want to be like him. And it's like, really? You want to be like someone like Satan, like Lil Nas. To me, I don't mess with it anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't know him personally, but after coming out with that stuff, the Satan shoes and all that, no, to me, that's completely off, bro. That's complete opposite. That is for hate. That is for racism. That's for everything that is against love, period. So to me, I'm not with it. I'm not on board on it. If people are like, well, it's sold out in seconds. Well, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That is for hate, dude. I don't support anything that stands for hate and evil and racism. I don't stand for that. I don't. So, you know what I'm saying? So to me, that's out of the picture. But the bigger picture, dealing with all the racists, everything out there today, right? And as I said before, I believe we're all one human race. The flesh doesn't matter to me. It's the heart of the person, right? But, in society today, it's not like that. It's a little different, right? We see it on TV now. We're seeing it in the news. We're seeing it with these riots. We're seeing people get shot with rubber bullets. There's no filter anymore. People will shoot you just in the head just to do it. And that's that. There's no filter whatsoever, dude. No, like, personal feelings, no human-to-human feelings. It's just, like, kind of, like, cold-hearted, right? Like, for real. But to me, I think ultimately we need love. We do in our society, no doubt about it. Moving forward, no matter what you do, you could be a policeman, a firefighter, no matter what it is, I think we need to do it with love, in the intentions of love, in the intentions of bettering someone else's life, right? When we go to help somebody, we're not trying to be a threat, right? To where I think, a lot of people out in society look to people, for example, like police officers as a threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, they look to them and say, oh man, I feel threatened with my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, and it could have been a flashback, it could have been a relative you got in a situation with the police, which I get that. But I think it really stems from evil. It stems from the enemy of fear, putting fear in your life. Even with COVID, dealing with all that, it's all to put fear in your minds and control us. I really do. Ultimately, I really do believe that. But moving forward, like I said, we need it. We need love. We need peace moving forward. But, when some of these scenarios like the George Floyd situation, Breonna Taylor situation, it's like, are these situations going to continue to keep coming up in society? And I understand both sides had their times where it was like, man, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. But I think ultimately, no matter what side you're on, right or wrong, smart or dumb, no matter what it is, I think ultimately we all need to come together. Every single human out there in the world today, your life matters. Your life does. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might not seem like it in the moment. It might seem like this is as good as it's going to get. This is as good as it's going to get. No, it's not. Your life is going to get better. That's why people are coming to America, wanting to come to America, wanting to live in America. Because people who are born in America, like myself, they're automatically privileged. I don't care if you're born into poverty or born rich. If you're born in America, automatically you're up on the right foot. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine being born in a third world country where they don't have Wi-Fi. They don't have running water, dude. You know what I'm saying? So us being born in America, we're already up, dude. For real. Okay? So to me, I don't like when people badmouth America, always say the bad things about America. But why do people want to come to America then? If we're going to badmouth America, that's what I'm saying, dealing with that. But overall, in the global scale, we need peace and love. Everything else is the enemy, is the devil. So, people who support that, it's like, they're kind of like, buying into that, buying into the hatred, buying into the hate, buying into everything what the news, the media is feeding us day in and day out, week in and week out, year in and year out. So, to me, we need change. We do. And I thought there was going to be tremendous change even back in like 2008, dude. But some of these situations are still coming up right now. But I think, when we have that mentality of, if he's wrong and I'm right, he's going to hear it. I'm never going to give up, or, I'm just going to fight my way through. I'm going to throw fists no matter what it is. It's just like, that mentality is like an eye for an eye mentality. Like, if he does me wrong, I'm going to do him wrong and his family wrong and his friends wrong. To me, that's all the wrong way. We need to go the other way. We need to say, you know what, dude, that it is what it was. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Let's move on. Let's move on to bigger and better things. Peace, love, not war. Like, seriously, we can afford war, but we can't afford to feed the poor. I don't get that. So I think moving forward in 2021 and into the future in our society, we are the keys. We hold the keys to it. We hold the keys to success. We hold the keys to peace. We hold the keys to love. We really do, and it starts with the individuals in our hearts. If we have good hearts moving forward, anything's possible here in America and in the world, baby. It's the Claudio and Gab Show. Let's go!